go back to the table now. Guys, it was an amazing night. Curious your thoughts on who won the evening.
It was an absolutely amazing night. Peter, Tom, thank you so much. We'll get back to you in a little bit. A lot of candidates to choose from when you want to pick the answer to the following question, which is, in your mind, who won the first round of the 2023?
Fly, Eagles, fly to victory.
Oh, fight.
You fly, Bulldogs fly.
Yeah, you can definitely say that. Howie Roseman, you slide W. The Philadelphia Eagles, that's who I'm rolling with, who won the first round of the draft. They end up moving up from 10 to 9 to get Jalen Carter, some believe to be the best prospect in the entire draft. Even had a special handshake with the commissioner, one of the cool moments in the draft. They follow up by getting his college teammate, Nolan Smith, all the way at the back end of the first round of the draft. So they pair these two with college teammates in Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean that are already there in Philly. And these two guys come into an organization that obviously has been winning over the last several years, but also there's veterans there in front of them to be able to teach them and show them the ropes. And it's not just me who thought the Philadelphia Eagles won the first round and we're happy for them and their draft picks. They had a member of their organization at the draft who was fired up with the draft picks that they were able to secure for the franchise. Listen here to who it was.
Jalen Carter.
Everybody in Philly was doing the same thing. Jason Kelce alongside Colleen Wolfe in the crowd amongst the people celebrating the draft. That is how you get it done. Jason, I will be there today. I will find you. We will celebrate as well.
Yeah.
The Eagles making picks. Howie Roseman willing to deal and finding a way to get it done.
You know, watching last night, you could see kind of on the Jumbotron, and I kept saying, oh, that's cool. There's one of those, like, Kelce lookalikes that's in the crowd. Like, you know how the guy dresses up like Andy Reid? Yeah. That guy has a beard, and he looks like just, oh, that's actually Jason Kelce. Yeah. Like, that's completely perfect. Can you imagine, like, the Cowboys, the Giants, the Commanders watching the Eagles draft last night? Roseman did it again. But I think there's a team that had a better day, and I will ask a question. Has anybody in any line of work in history, not NFL history, world history, ever had a better day at work than Lamar Jackson had yesterday?
He did not.
I think it's the Ravens. Right before the draft, we're like, oh, they're going to sign a 5-year deal, the thing we've been talking about for 50 years, every single second of the day. Yes, they got an extension with Lamar. And then it's like, all right, we're going to promote you to the biggest part of our company, and we're going to give you all this money. Great. Oh, also, later on, we're going to let you know that we're going to give you a private jet, and you can use whenever you want it, however you like. Then they drafted Zay Flowers. So the Ravens, an unbelievable day, and there's Odell memes, and Rashad Bateman's coming back, and it could have just left it alone. Lamar, we signed all the money, and we're going to get it a little bit, and we got you Odell, and now we're going to build on defense. No, we also added another wide receiver, and that's been the question that's followed them around and chased Lamar on for years, is you need to get wideouts, and they've tried, and they've tried. They're trying again, and they took a big swing with a guy that we all like from Boston College. I was surprised by this pick. I thought for sure it would be a pass rusher or somebody. Lamar had the greatest day in the history of employment. I'm really happy for you, Lamar. You got the money, you got the jet, you got it all. Now go use it.
They got a jet?
Yes, Zay Flowers, exactly. You know, we're always saying, we need to give Lamar their flowers. They actually gave him the flowers.
Yes.
What the hell?
Of wide receivers. Here you are.
Yes.
Yes.
It's incredible.
What a absolute day for him. And we've been talking about it for so long, so excited. My is a bit of a departure, okay?
Do it.
Simply because I think Will Levis won the first round.
Explain.
He won it.
He won it.
By going undrafted.
Yes.
How come?
Now, most people, if you talk to them, did not have a first-round grade necessarily for Will Levis. So that meant if you were drafting him in the first round, you were reaching. And there were going to be unrealistic expectations that come with that. He were a top-5 pick. The word bust, if it doesn't work out, is something I can relate to. Sure. And it sticks with you. And it can wear as an anchor for some time. He may go at the very top of the second round. Who has gone at the very top of the second round? Who's been and gone on to have a lot of success? I think Drew Brees, one. You have Derek Carr for another. You have quarterbacks that don't have those unrealistic expectations. Therefore, there may be a little bit of ease. Now, what he had to go through last night, you know, it's an embarrassing situation. Yeah. But I also think, like anything, and it took me a long time to figure this out, adversity like that maybe humiliation like that, you grow from it, right? You learn how to deal with it in a positive and healthy way. Just like what it's going to be like to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, because you're going to fail. You are, on the biggest stage possible. And when you don't have those unrealistic expectations, I think this is a huge thing for Will Levis. I think you can look at it as an entire positive moving forward. You may look back on it and utilize it as a chip, something like that. So I really do. I didn't want this to happen. I don't want anybody never to get their bag of money and all the things that come with being a first-round draft pick, but there is a perspective to this and an understanding. You can still be the greatest quarterback to ever play and not be drafted in the first round. Look at Kurt Warner. Look at Tom Brady. It's all available to you, okay? The expectations don't exist. So I went a little different direction.
I like it.
You might think it's silly. I think it's smart.
And I hope he hears you, because I know he's watching the coverage today. You can assume he's hearing a lot of things, feeling a lot of things. So I hope he hears you when you say that to him, Ryan. Mine is the team that just bubbled up to the surface and said, you know, we can't decide. Why not both? Because that's what the Houston Texans did. They had the #2 overall pick. They went with their quarterback. They went with C.J. Stroud. They changed his life after the challenging narrative that this quarterback from Ohio State has faced over the last 4, 5, 6 weeks. He was the king of the mountain at the combine, and for some unknown reason, from a narrative perspective, he began to stumble down the mountain. He said nothing. He kept his chin up. He let the video do the talking, and the Texans knew that was their guy. And then the Texans thought, you know who else is our guy? The linebacker, the edge rusher, Will Anderson Jr. So now we're going to go out and get an Alabama guy to join John Mechie, who's a great wide receiver out of Alabama, and Christian Harris, who's a linebacker out of Alabama. This team is young. They're exciting. They have Dameon Pierce coming out of the backfield. DeMeco Ryans and Nick Caserio just said, you know what? We're going to go up in flames with this in a great way or in a bad way, but whatever. We got our guys to go to battle with. And there is not a team, I'm going to say this today on April 28th, that I'm more excited to watch next year than the Houston Texans, because I want to see how it all comes together, because they committed to these guys, and I love it.
It's awesome. It's a great take, Jamie. C.J. Stroud went #2 after all. We sat here and talked for weeks. I know you're happy. I'm really happy. I only way to have been happier is if you went #1. Bryce went #1. They got their guys. Seeing them go 2 and 3 was wild. And we have to shout out for Daniel Jeremiah, who predicted it in his mock draft. Not only that they would go, he got the teams right. And DJ, you're crazy modest and everything. Have your moment. That was unbelievably cool.
Yep, absolutely. Peter, who do you think won in the first round? You got to watch it firsthand, especially.
Yeah, look, I think Daniel Jeremiah, rightfully so, deserves a lot of credit for that, because everyone was looking for who's that team who's going to trade up to 3, who's going to trade up to 3. We thought it was for Stroud. And to what Tom Pelissero was saying, it was actually Will Anderson is who they traded up to get, which was really cool. And Houston now has 2 cornerstone pieces to add to some of the guys they added in last year's draft. But my winner is the team that selected first overall. I'm going with the Carolina Panthers, and I look at this as a 4-month process. You know, when they went to the coaching hiring process, they could have gone a million different ways. They spent a lot of money hiring Frank Reich, Josh McCown, Jim Caldwell, Thomas Brown. These are names from other staffs that were big names and guys who have been in the league for a long time that demanded a high price tag, and David Tepper did pay those guys. And then they went and they paid a high price tag to move from 9 to 1. I like the decisiveness. Now, the story that'll come out today is that obviously they've had their eyes on Bryce Young, but this could have gone a million different ways. They met with all the quarterbacks. They did have those meetings, and Bryce Young was the guy from day one. And they go and they get their man, and now after post-Cam Newton having to go through all these different quarterbacks that they thought might be the next guy, now they have theirs. And I thought Bryce Young handled this pre-draft process perfectly. Never said a wrong thing, showed up to every meeting he was asked to go to, did everything perfectly as far as not having to work out at the combine, but still leaving a great impression on these teams. Carolina finally has their guy, and this wasn't just a one night, let's get on the phone, let's make it work. I thought it was really impressive how this was kind of laid out for a couple months. How do we rebuild the Carolina Panthers? Remember, we entered the draft season, they had the 9th overall pick, and a coach, a lot of people were saying, well, that's kind of a retread. Frank Reich, wasn't he fired from Indianapolis last year? Yeah. Now you've got the sky is the limit, and they've got a great future ahead with Bryce Young at #1.